Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about working with Archangel Metatron. And I feel like it's a really important topic to discuss with you right now because this huge shift that's going on in the world, I really feel like Archangel Metatron is one of the archangels here to sort of facilitate this shift. And I feel that he has been working with me quite often. As I have mentioned before, I feel like I've been going through a huge shift. And if you watched my Facebook Live the other night when I did a card reading, it just felt like all of the psychic intuition that I normally get was just coming in at a much more rapid pace than it normally does. And I felt this huge shift. And I know that working with Archangel Metatron is one of the reasons, because he is one of the archangels who's associated with helping us to work with our crown chakra. So because he is an important archangel during this time, and you may also want to work with him or already be working with him, I thought that this would be an interesting podcast episode. So who exactly is Archangel Metatron? You may be asking yourself that. Archangel Metatron is known as the Angel of Ascension. Now, some say that he is the highest of the archangels, though I think that it really has more to do with he is the archangel who facilitates humans experiencing the highest vibration possible. Because remember, we are all spirits here having a human experience, and we tend to reverse that. We tend to think that we're humans here having a spiritual encounter, and really, we're spirits here having a human encounter, and we need to be focusing more on that. So he's an archangel that you can call upon for help with spiritual development and learning. He watches over the indigo and crystal souls. And I've talked about indigo and crystal children before. So if you're not really aware of what that is, you can go back and listen to that podcast. But essentially, the indigo and crystal children, and now the rainbow children coming through, they're a wave of people, a generation of healers and light workers who have taken on the assignment to come here to Earth to help elevate the vibration of the entire planet. And it's a very interesting thing. So go back and listen to that if you don't know what indigo and crystal souls are. He's also believed to be one of the only, there are two archangels that have been thought to have actually incarnated here on Earth. He's one, the other is Archangel Sandalphon. So that's kind of interesting too, that he actually had an incarnation here on Earth. So the meaning of his name, what does that mean? His name actually means, and there are a few people who argue what it actually means, but the source that I'm using, his name is He Who Works from Behind the Throne of God. So this obviously fits because he's the archangel who can bring humankind to the highest possible vibration. So Archangel Metatron, the color that he's associated with is violet and green. So you may see or sense those colors when you're working with him. And the crystal or gemstone that he's associated with is watermelon tourmaline. And I don't know if you've ever seen watermelon tourmaline, but it's a really cool looking crystal. So if you want to work with him, you may think about getting this watermelon tourmaline to work with that. So as the scribe of God, Metatron uses sacred geometry. He is the teacher of esoteric knowledge. So if you're trying to grasp any kind of high-level concept, then Archangel Metatron is your go-to archangel, which is why he's a wonderful archangel to work with if you're in school. So a lot of students call on Archangel Metatron because he is the archangel that helps you to grasp those concepts that you're having difficulty understanding. He's also the keeper of the Akashic records. Now, if you don't know what the Akashic records are, I'll give you a little brief overview of that. So the word Akashic This comes from the word Akasha, which means they are from another dimension. So they're from another dimension higher than the dimension we live in. So the Akashic records, when you think of that, it's like a library in a higher dimension that you walk in, and we each have a book. And this book spans our entire lifetime. And there are many lifetimes, not just the ones here. So if you want to know what happened in a past lifetime, you can go in and access the Akashic records. Or if you want to know what's going to happen in your lifetime now, you can go in and you can access the Akashic records. Now, the interesting thing about this is, I've done an Akashic record meditation with Heather Doran, and it was so interesting, and we learned a lot of things, and it was fascinating, and it was absolutely right on point. But the interesting thing is, you might think, well, how easy would life be if I could just go in and look at the Akashic records and know everything about my life? You can only access certain things because you're not supposed to know everything. That's why sometimes if you go to a medium and you want to know information about a situation, and they're like, I don't know, this is all I'm getting, and it's like they can't get any more information than that, there's a reason. Because a lot of things are tied into a lesson, and it's a lesson about choices you make. So if someone tells you what the end result is going to be, then you're going to make a specific choice. So you can't always know everything. We can't always have all of the answers, because if we did, we wouldn't be learning anything. We wouldn't understand that, well, if I take road A, then it's going to lead to this, but if I take road B, it's going to lead to a different result. So part of the lesson is in choosing the choice, right? Making the choice. And that's tough for a lot of people. There are people who hate making decisions. And there are those fence people who just sit there, and they'll sit there until they die almost, because they don't want to make a decision, because they're allowing fear to take over. Like, I have to know every detail of what's going to happen in order for me to make that choice. And that's a lesson too. That's a lesson in trusting your intuition. So you can go to this hall of records, as they call it, the Akashic records. It's like a library, and you can look into your book. So again, you can do that, but you're not going to always see everything that's in that book, because again, part of it is a lesson. But Archangel Metatron is known as the keeper of the Akashic records. He takes a special interest in highly sensitive young people who are misunderstood or often medicated because of their spiritual gifts, because it might make them socially awkward. I truly believe that there are a lot of kids who are put on medications and diagnosed with things when actually it's just their spiritual gifts that they have. But we so often mislabel people, and we're just, we say, oh, they're this, give them this medication, when that isn't necessarily the case. So if you have a child and you feel like your child is having trouble adjusting to socialization at school or at home or work, or even if you just have a special needs child, call on Archangel Metatron to help you. Archangel Metatron works closely with teachers for that same reason, because we are the ones who are working with children and shaping and molding the children. So I call on Archangel Metatron for my own children, but I also call on Archangel Metatron to help me work with my students too. So he's a very high-level being, but he's very accessible to all of us because of his dedication to teaching the practical application of esoteric wisdom. So what are some ways you can work with him? Well, as I talked about, he actually uses sacred geometric shapes. And the one shape that is most commonly known for is the Metatron cube. It's also called the Merkabah. So for this geometric shape, it will enter your body at your crown chakra and flow through all of the other chakras to create a perfect balance in all of your chakras. So if you ask Metatron for his healing or to raise your spiritual vibration, this is essentially what he will do. So it can help you to visualize a shape you resonate with traveling through your chakras. You don't have to do that, but it helps sometimes. So I will post a link to some articles that you can go and look at, and they do have the Merkabah there that you can see, so you have an idea of what's she talking about. But there are a lot of ways that we can work with Archangel Metatron. He helps us in automatic writing, which is a process where, and this is what I used a lot when I first started really getting into my spiritual gifts and my psychic abilities, I used automatic writing. Because for me, the information that I get, it's not a voice I hear, it's not a visual thing, it's a knowing. So when I started writing, that's when I was able to separate, okay, these are my thoughts, these are not my thoughts. And so you can just time yourself, get a piece of paper, get a pen, time yourself, call an Archangel Metatron and ask, say, I would like to work with automatic writing, I would like to get some messages, and then just see what comes out. You can ask him specific questions and then write down whatever comes to you. It can take some practice because I'll be honest, when I first started doing it, I thought I was just making things up. I'm like, no, these are just my thoughts that are coming into my head. But the more I worked with it, and it wasn't actually until I started working with clients one-on-one or doing practice work with clients that I realized this is not you getting this information, because there's no way you could know these things about your clients. So the more you do it, it's like a muscle. The more you practice, the better you get, the stronger that gets. So try doing some automatic writing with Archangel Metatron. So with Archangel Metatron, if you're asking to work with him, you may not feel him or sense him in the way that you do other archangels like Archangel Michael. Anytime I work with Archangel Michael, it's like I immediately feel his presence. I sometimes see the bluish, purplish color out of the corner of my eye, and I know he's there because he tends to show signs that are more of the 3D level, something that you can tangibly feel or see. That's Archangel Michael. But with Archangel Metatron, he's a little bit more discreet. So you really have to pay attention to your intuition. And if you're one of those people who doesn't trust your intuition, or you don't feel like you get the hunches or the gut feelings, you may have a little harder time asking for help or working with him. Doesn't mean you can't. It means that when you work with him, you need to be really super focused on paying attention. The interesting thing about Metatron is if you've been struggling with some kind of answer to something you don't understand, and all of a sudden you get this aha moment. Yes, that's it. That's the answer. It's coming from Metatron. He likes to think outside the box, and he can shift the energy on the blueprint level with such force that sometimes whatever you've asked for can manifest all at once, and it can be a shock because you're like, oh my gosh, I have struggled with this for months and months and months, and all of a sudden, all at once, I got the answer. And that happens a lot. Metatron also likes to work with that 1111 sign, and I think almost everyone at some point sees 1111. I get people who write into me all the time, I'm seeing 1111. It's one of the most powerful master numbers. It's known as the DNA activation code for the ascension process. It's also called the gates of Metatron. So if you're waking up at night and you see 1111, it's like you're experiencing a large leap forward spiritually. That's what it means. It's a good sign to see 1111 because it means that Metatron, the angels, ascended masters, they are all working with you to help you make this spiritual leap. So that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing to have all of these people in your corner. Trust me. So what are some other ways that you can work with Archangel Metatron? Not only can you work with him with the Akashic records, so you can go in and look at your records to figure out who you were in a past life and what lessons you had to take with you, or why perhaps you have the same patterns of behavior repeating over and over. It's possible that there were karmic lessons from other lifetimes that you needed to learn and you haven't yet. So that's another way you can use that with past life. But also, Archangel Metatron can give you divine thoughts. And we call these divine downloads, or it's very powerful spiritual wisdom. And most of the time we get these downloads while we're sleeping. At least I feel like I do. I can tell you what it feels like to me, but it might be different for every person. But I will be laying in my bed asleep or close to sleep, and all of a sudden I just feel this jolt of energy. And it wakes me up. I kind of sit up and I think, oh, what was that? And then I feel like a weird tingling sensation in my crown chakra. And that's usually what I feel when I know that I've just received a download. So the download is information that they're bringing you, or the Archangel Metatron is bringing you from the divine. And you can tune in to divine love, the embodiment of your divine truth, and you can get guidance from Metatron. So Metatron can communicate with you through feeling, through this sudden impulse you may get to take a specific action. Like you may just all of a sudden know you have to do something. That might be Metatron working with you through a thought pattern or an intuitive nudge. Again, Metatron works with you by activating your crown chakra. And this is so that your awareness can elevate into higher energy centers of divine communication, and that you can receive deeper meanings of messages and teachings. So, as I said, when I was sleeping, when I would get the download, my crown chakra would tingle. If you're feeling that tingling in your head, and for me, sometimes the best way I can describe it is sometimes I get this pressure in my head. It feels like it would be sinus pressure, like when your head, it doesn't hurt, but it just feels very like tight in your head, like there's a lot of pressure right there. That is what I feel when I know I'm having like a crown chakra activation. Sometimes I feel the tingling. That for me is the feeling that I get when I know like, oh yeah, I'm getting a download, or Metatron's here helping me to work on this activation. So again, one of the gifts that Metatron has revealed to humanity is the Merkabah star, called Metatron's cube. And it's a geometric, multidimensional form that's made of light, color, sound, spiritual fire, and frequency. The nature of the cube is very multidimensional. There's an immense amount of knowledge and understanding that you can receive through it. It holds the script of creation. So it holds the secrets of the universe and the template for reality. In one article I read, it said that Archangel Metatron actually helped in the creation of the planet, so of beings. So that is very interesting. It can be used as a vehicle for multidimensional travel into higher spheres. So sometimes we might call that like astral travel, and I've done episodes on that before too. And that's where we can go to other dimensions. And we usually do this when we're sleeping, although you can do it through meditation as well. It can be used as a 12D protection shield, and it has powerful healing ability. So how you can use the Merkabah star for healing is you meditate on a picture of Metatron's cube. And again, I'm going to post a link of one of the articles that I'm referencing that has the picture of Metatron's cube. But all you have to do, if you don't want to go back to the podcast notes, is simply Google the Merkabah star or Metatron's cube, and it will bring up an image. So meditate on this picture of the cube to help you clear the pathways of psychic perception, to help you clear and elevate your mind, and to raise the vibration of your thoughts. Visualize this Merkabah star around you, bringing healing to your entire being. You can again visualize, once you see this image and you get a good visual of it, close your eyes and imagine that this image, this geometric shape, is going down through the top of your head and into your entire body. And as it's doing that, you're cleansing and healing your chakras with Metatron's cube, because Metatron can balance all of our chakras. Metatron is focused on serving humanity in the ascension process and creating heaven on earth. So it makes sense that he works with the Rainbow Crew and with Crystal and Indigo children, because our purpose in coming here as healers, as light workers, is to raise the vibration of the planet and to get the planet ready for new earth. One of the ways that he does that is in supporting us in accessing the divine I Am presence through the Ascension Pillar of Light. It's a core light at the center of your being that expands around you. It anchors you to the crystalline core of earth below and flows up through your open heart, up along the center of your being and out the crown at the top of your head, connecting you to the source of all that is. So if you've ever worked with me or listened to one of my guided meditations, I talk about the light coming down and it connects you from above and below and it runs through you. And I always say you are now being fed from above and below. That's that core of earth running through you. If you want to activate your pillar of light, you can tune in to the presence of Archangel Metatron above your head. You may sense him as like a brilliant orb of divine light. Again, he shows up as a purple light and a green light. It doesn't really matter the color, honestly. Sometimes for me, it just helps in visualization to imagine the colors that they're associated with, but you don't have to. Allow that divine light to shine upon you like a spotlight from above, opening your higher energy centers. It flows down through your crown, through your heart, through your abdomen, and anchors all the way down into the crystalline core of earth. Activating your pillar of light empowers you to be of service at a higher level in the highest interest of all, which was what a lot of us have come here to do anyway. When you connect to higher light grounding, it's really, really important. Ground yourself with Mother Earth. There are also prayers that you can say to Archangel Metatron, and they're in this article that I am going to share with you, so you don't have to worry about doing that right now. You can just go back and look at that. But if you want to do a meditation, you can do a higher self meditation and call on Archangel Metatron. You can ask for assistance if you're trying to learn something. So I would honestly just do a YouTube search for these meditations. There's so many great, amazing free resources out there for you. So just do a search. Go to YouTube and search for Archangel Metatron, meditation, guided meditation with Archangel Metatron, and just see what comes up for you. But the interesting thing about working with him is, again, he can clear our energy and help us to connect to the higher realms and help us to connect to esoteric information that we don't have access to in the 3D, right? Those are things we get downloads for. So you can call on Archangel Metatron to help you. If you have children, absolutely call on Archangel Metatron to help your children while they're in school, helping them with socialization if they're having a hard time, if they're being bullied at school. And I really hope they're not being bullied, but I know the kind of world we live in, and I know that that is a possibility. So call on Archangel Metatron to be there to protect and surround your children, to help them in school. And if you're a teacher or you work with children in any capacity, call on him to help you to do your job in the best way that helps those children the most. All right. Well, I thought that was really interesting. Now, here's another thing that'll blow your mind. I wanted to pull a card for you today. So I pulled the Archangel Oracle deck. This is the deck that I used. I already had my topic. I said, okay, now I want to talk about Archangel Metatron. And then I pulled a card out, and it's Archangel Metatron, and you can't make this stuff up. I did not go in and handpick it. I just said, this is my topic. Help me find a card that goes along with this. What came out is prioritize. Focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. So that's another thing that Metatron can help you do. Archangel Metatron can help you to prioritize your tasks. If you find that you're one of those people that's easily distracted, like I feel like I am sometimes, I'll be thinking about one thing and I need to go do that, and then 15 other things pop up, and then I forgot what I was even going in there to do in the first place. So that is so me. Sometimes I have 15 projects going on all at once, and I'm never giving any one all of my attention, which is not always a good thing. So you can call on Archangel Metatron to help you focus on the highest priorities. So you may make a list of all of the projects you have going on right now and say, okay, what is most important? What do I need to get done first? And you can ask Archangel Metatron to help you in prioritizing, and you can help him or ask him to help you get organized and get motivated. Okay, today I'm going to spend an hour on this project, and then I'm going to spend an hour on this project. And sometimes we have to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. We might feel like, oh my gosh, I have to babysit myself. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with being very scheduled so that you make sure you're devoting enough time to each thing, because we're the type of beings sometimes we get so involved in something else, we spend way too much time on one thing. I mean, let's face it, we binge watch an entire season of something on Netflix. That shows you that we don't know how to prioritize our time. Instead of saying, I'm going to watch an episode of this and then I'm going to watch an episode of that. No, we binge watch an entire season. Who does that, right? All humans do that. So what we need to do is say, okay, I'm going to spend an hour working on this project, and then I'm going to spend an hour working on this. And you may actually have to physically set a timer, because once you get into it, you may forget what time it is and lose track of time. And if that's something that works for you, do it great. I'm going to devote an hour of my time today to clean the house, and I'm going to devote an hour of my time today to work on my projects at school, and I'm going to devote an hour today. I have to do that. I had to do that when I was in my master's program because I was all over the place. I had to really sit down and devote my time to really thinking about, okay, I've got to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. So make a schedule of all the things you have to do, then go through and prioritize them, and then make sure that you've actually blocked out time to sit and work. So if there are any students listening, and I know I just had a listener reach out and say, I'm so glad I found you. I'm a college student and this has helped me so much. These are things I wish someone would have told me. So if you're listening and you're a college student, take note. This is a great tool to help get you organized, and you can call on Archangel Metatron to help you get organized, to help you with your studies if you're struggling. I wish I would have known about this when I was going through chemistry or algebra, because this would have been so helpful to me. So anyway, I love that message, and don't hesitate to call on Archangel Metatron to work with you, especially if you are the parent of a rainbow child. He can help you a lot. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you so much for being here with me. I love doing this podcast. It's so much fun for me, and I love all of the people who reach out to tell me about their own experiences. Meeting new people is one of the best parts about doing this podcast. So thank you for those of you who've reached out. Don't ever hesitate to reach out. I love hearing from my listeners. Don't forget to like this podcast, subscribe, and leave reviews from wherever you're listening, because that really, really does help me. And to those of you, I never even thought about it before, but on Instagram, I've had people who tag my podcast in their story, or they say something about my podcast on their feed. Thank you for that. That is so cool. Or if you've shared it on Facebook, that really, really means a lot to me, and it does help me. So thank you for those of you who do that. That's such a sweet, awesome thing for you to do. Keep that up. And also, don't forget to follow me on social media. I go live Mondays at 6:30 Central on Facebook, where I do a free card reading. And if you're there for the live, I will pick a card for you over a certain topic of your life. And the readings that we did this week were actually pretty amazing. They were pretty spot on for people. Also, I post videos to Instagram and IGTV, so go check those out. Don't forget my YouTube channel where I offer free guided meditations and tappings. And if you would like to work with me, I offer Reiki, one-on-one coaching, past life regression, and readings, card readings. So you can go to my website, melissaoatman.com. There you'll see all of the services I offer. There's a description. You can purchase my book there. You can also purchase my deck, Divine Whispers, which is the oracle deck that I created. There's so many things available to you on my website. Just go there. If you subscribe, you'll receive a free morning and evening meditation from me, just as a thank you for subscribing to my website. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. This is always so much fun, and I appreciate you all. I am sending you so much love and light. Take care of yourselves. Be safe, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.